Great morning, City of Hyattsville. I see we have some people joining us, and we're glad to see that. It is now 9 o'clock. I'm going to give people a few moments to join in, but I just wanted to make sure I come on, say hello, good morning, and we appreciate you joining us this morning. But we're going to give people a little time to jump in. We know it's early, got to get the sleep out of your eyes and all those things. So if you would just be patient with us. Um, Sit tight, and we have some great information to share with you, and we'll talk with you soon. One moment. All right. Good morning again, everyone. It's 3 minutes after 9. I think we should, for the sake of those who have already joined us, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I am going to start the presentation. If you bear with me one moment, we'll get us started. All righty. So again, my name is Renee Harris. I am the Business and Economic Development Coordinator for the City of Hyattsville. And this is our Commercial Facade Improvement Program information session. The program is set to open at I can't remember the exact date again. So it's going to be opening in April. So we wanted to set up some time to give people information about the commercial facade improvement program. Some may be familiar with it, some may not be, and that's okay. So that's why we were happy to set this up for you in person. We had an in-person session last week at Emeritus in Queens Chapel, and then we're doing the virtual session today, which will be recorded and posted on the city's website. So you will be able to go back and reference this information when that time comes. So as I mentioned last week at Emeritus, last Thursday, we had Ms. Dawn Jordan from the University of Maryland with us in person. She is a professional in architecture as well as a proficient in science. And so she was able to provide some a wealth of information regarding signage. We know that a lot of the businesses within the city of Hyattsville have questions about the proper way to have their signs, what's best for them, whether you're street front or have signs on the buildings. So she provided a wealth of information with that for those who were in attendance. But today we're happy to have with you Ms. Jean Cannon from the State of Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. She has many, many years of experience, and she is the liaison for Prince George's County. And she's ready and excited to share all the great information about commercial facade and the importance of it as well. So let's start with the program goals. For the city of Hyattsville, you see, we established the commercial facade improvement program in 2011 as an economic engine strategy for revitalization within the city's commercial corridors. And you'll see some examples of that within this presentation. The program works to revitalize and sustain the economic vitality of the city's commercial districts through public-private investments in commercial properties. The goal of the program is to improve the overall aesthetic quality and functionality of the built environment within the city's commercial corridors. So the program guidelines, there are some basic guidelines that Jean will talk about that are consistent throughout the state of Maryland. There are a few what we consider overlays for the city of Hyattsville, some requirements that we have, and some of you may be familiar with that, but we'll talk a little bit about that right now. So in the past, there has been a 50-50 match with the commercial facade program within the city of Hyattsville. This year, I'm happy to let everyone know that we have changed that. So instead of you saying you have a $10,000 grant, $10,000 project that you're doing, instead of you having to match it 5,000 for 5,000, you now only have to bring $2,500 to the table. So in other words, 75% 25% is your responsibility. So that's a great way to allow everyone an opportunity to be able to participate in the commercial facade improvement grant. Now, the program is as little as 5,000. The max is 35,000 in regards to the application. So those are some of the major things that I wanted to bring up. So of course, if you're a business that is looking to apply for this grant, you definitely can do that whether you own the property or not. The only difference is you must make sure you get approval from the property owner before the application can be accepted, okay? And with commercial facade improvement, fundings cover the cost of exterior facade improvements, including masonry, windows, doors, awning, replacement lighting, and signage, as I mentioned previously. So there are a lot of different things that can be done when you talk about the facade of a building. Think about it as an introduction to the public of who you are. It's a representation, like a hello to the community as who you are. So when you think about commercial facade, that's exactly what you should be thinking about. The properties must be zoned for commercial use and located within the city's 3 designated commercial corridors. And the applicants are required to collect 3 bids from licensed contractors prior to making a selection. The guidelines, the in detailed guidelines with all the updates will also be posted on the City of Hyattsville website. So I want to start by showing a few. Jean and I are going to go back and forth and show a little and talk a little bit about some of the previous commercial facade improvements that have been done within the city of Hyattsville. And you see here, and you probably wouldn't have even recognized it as you see the picture above, and you see Vigilante Nail with a lot of people within the community enjoy going to Vigilante. But we see what the building looked like prior to them investing in bringing this light to the community. You see the work that was done had to take out some of the bricks and improve the signage. So that's one of the projects that was done within the city of Hyattsville. I'll let Jean come on in a little bit now and talk about this project here. Jean, you with me?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
Wonderful. Thanks, Renee. And good morning, everybody. As Renee mentioned, I'm Jean Cannon. I'm the program officer with the Department of Neighborhood Revitalization within Maryland's Department of Housing and Community Development. I work on the community development side and less on the housing side, helping oversee and assist with our state revitalization programs, or SRP, as Renee mentioned, for Southern Maryland, which includes Prince George's County. And our competitive programming helps fund facade programs just like this one in Hyattsville. So here we have the Sangford Distilling, 5,000 grant award, total investment 11,600. As you can see, these are some examples of, it's really all about creating an inviting space and curb appeal through updated signage, fresh painting, lighting, awnings, anything really facade related to help get people to stop and want to spend time and come through the door. So if you want to go to the next slide.
Sure. So right here, you see again, this is on 4800 Rhode Island Avenue. It was a former auto glass shop. And you see all the writing on the building and the little bays that the cars go in to get the work done. And you see that they made a lot of changes to that building, keeping some of the aesthetics, but just brightening it up a bit and taking away that, I guess, auto shop look from it, but keeping some of it just as a part of a different appeal to the building. Lots of masonry, lighting, and windows were done for this project. And you see the grant award was $45,000, but the total investment was 92,711. So this was the 21 square feet building with all of that space, and they were able to really brighten that area up.
And here we have the Shortcake Bakery, 4700 Rhode Island Avenue. You can see again from these examples, it runs kind of the full gamut of, there is no one size fits one for these This one has a beautiful pop of color and really pulls you in that way. It's not so much about trying to make each building look like a little cookie cutter of all the ones beside it, but really making them stand out. And with a grant award of $15,000 and a total investment of $30,000, the business owners have some skin in the game as well, ensuring that they're going to be moving forward with revitalizing and investing in the area. But really just great work.
Absolutely. So here we have Artworks Now and Pizza Paradiso at 4800 Rhode Island Avenue, another area, space that a lot of the community are able to enjoy. And this is like a two for, which is really great. We have Artworks Now where lots of arts and innovation is going on. And then on the other side, you have the pizzeria. So you see that that was a former florist that building that they took and they made a lot of different changes to it. Once again, just building out, brightening it up, bringing an introduction to the community with the artworks now, with the awning and the lighting and the seating outside. So you see, this was one of those very large projects, but the work turned out to be very nice and a very welcoming to the community. And I'm sure over time they did some layering in regards to grants and investment into the property to make it what it is today.
Great. And then we've got J. Richard Lilly Associates. You can really see here that's it's a completely transformed building. It doesn't even look like the same one from start to finish. And that's sometimes these facades are really kind of minor things, just a new sign, maybe a fresh coat of paint, but other times it can truly be an entire transformation. It's really whatever you're looking to accomplish, these programs are here to help you achieve. Um, Removing the facade panels, new entry doors, new lighting, paint, new signs, new stoop, all the things, which is really wonderful. And if you want to pop over to the next slide.
All right, so Jean, I'm gonna let you talk more in depth about program, the guidelines for the commercial facade, and then you could talk a little bit about the program outcomes and measures. Even though these numbers from 2021, you can speak more in depth into this. So I'll let you go ahead and put your professional hat on and take it away from here.
Wonderful. Yeah, so in terms of the guidelines, Renee had touched on some of Hyattsville's overlays. What we really need to see is that the property is within a sustainable community, which I think pretty much all of the business districts of Hyattsville fall within that. So there's already checking the box there. We do need to have it be on, from our end, a local government or a community development organization apply directly for our funding, but Hyattsville, as the local municipality, is able to apply for the funding and then through their application process, dole it out to subgrantees, to the businesses directly. So that's taken care of. And then the additional thing that we do need, which is one overlay to definitely be aware of as you're looking at your building and trying to figure out what you want to do, we do need to have MHT approval, which is Maryland Historic Trust, which shouldn't be too daunting. It just means we need a couple photos of the exterior along with the scope of work, which is just a quick breakdown of what you plan to do. If you plan to paint, if you're going to be pulling down an awning, if you're going to be changing a doorway or updating windows, it's normally not even an issue at all. We just have them take a look and make sure that there's nothing historic that they want to flag for us. But occasionally, if there is something that's historically significant for the time of importance, they will work with us and we'll help navigate the process with you if there's anything that they want to make sure is still remaining historic. So in that case, it would be potentially, keeping the new thing kind of in line with what was historic and appropriate at the time. So those are sort of the big 3 flags for our guidelines, but really it shouldn't be anything to hinder your project in any way. And in terms of program outcomes and measures, these are some great end goals for the dollars invested, private investment, activating spaces, especially vacant properties, jobs created, new or relocated businesses, and then the linear, like the street feet of facade improvement, all great goals. And we love to collect all that information at the end. But as Renee mentioned, some of these numbers are a little bit older now. So we definitely, that's part of why we ask for all the information about what you're doing and where you're doing it so that we can collect that types of information. Um, but our main goal is really, it's less of a tangible figure, but really it's to create, as our secretary always says, it's to create lovable places. So somewhere where you and your neighbors, you want to come and shop and spend your time and invest your money. And the program is here to help support communities seeking to create consistent, attractive designs for their commercial corridors in order to really bolster economic vitality and to help stimulate new private investments and bring in more businesses. So fill in those vacancies and really make the community shine.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jean. So let's do, like, I guess, a little quick run through of the application process for the city of Hyattsville. And the first thing that we really want to encourage you to do is read the guidelines, read them thoroughly, understanding what is required of you, understanding what needs to be submitted, because we want your application to be approved. So the more information that you provide to us, and if you have questions, that's what we're here for. You can ask the questions at the end of this session. You can always reach out to me later and I'll have my information provided. But we really want to encourage you to read the guidelines so that you can get an understanding of what is expected of you in order for you to get that application processed and to the finish line, okay? So the application process is online right now. And as I stated before, if you are leasing a property, it's very important that you make sure that the landlord does sign approval that you can do the work. All right. Please identify, what means of the cash match will be. And remember, the cash match now has changed. It's not dollar for dollar. It is 75/25. So you only have to come up with 25% of the entire project. And that can be a private equity or a loan, okay? Uh, get in with the three different contractors. This is important. We want to make sure that the work that is being done with the cost, it makes sense and it's a protection for you as well. All right. And so once you get those three different contractor quotes, whichever one you decide you're going to go with, make sure you get the price quotes for them, the itemized cost statement, because those are things that we will need for review as a part of your application process, okay? Those photos, what Jean was talking about earlier, we want to know what the outcomes are, and that's how we were able to share some of the previous information with you. We want to see what the before picture is and what the after picture is, and that's a boasting for you as well to show the investment and the time that you put into not just your business to help it to shine and move forward, but for your hello to the community to improve and show everyone what you were able to do with that, okay? And make sure that the contractor provides a conceptual or an architectural reading for the work. That is always helpful to make sure, because we have a lot of historic buildings within the city of Hyattsville, and we want to make sure when we submit the information to Jean for the Historic Society to review it, that they have all the information that they're looking for. Here are a few more things, the W-9, you complete and sign your city CFI application and form, and everything is submitted via electronically. And here's the date. The application will be due. That is due on Friday by 5 p.m. on Friday, June the 20th. This is going to be a 10-week process. I know previously it may have been, I think, 4 to 8 weeks, but we're going to give you 10 weeks. So the application process opens in April. You'll be able to get your application in, give you the time that you need to get your quotes, to get the signatures that you need. That should be plenty of time to get everything done. And if there's a challenge, don't wait till the end. Please give me a call ahead of time. That's what we're here for. We want you to apply for this grant, and we want you to be able to succeed. So if you're having any challenges, don't try not to wait till the last minute. Definitely reach out to us and let us know what's going on, okay? So I know that was a quick run through, but like I said, we will have everything posted online as well as the guidelines in detail will be posted online so you will be able to review them, go back to them. So let's do a little quick Q&A and I'm going to ask the question and Jean is going to give us a little feedback on it. How do I know how much to budget for? Jean, you have an idea about that one?
I mean, it's an excellent question. It ranges so much depending on the specifics of the project, and that's really part of too why I think the recommendation and the requirement is to get at least 3 quotes so you can see sort of where this is going to fall and maybe scale your project up or down depending on where it falls within your budget. And it looks like there's a commercial facade design guidebook to help with some pricing estimates. But yeah, we're very aware that in the past few years, especially, prices for labor and for materials have just gone up and up. So definitely get those quotes in hand to give you a better idea of just how much it's going to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, does the city have any recommendations for contractors? Jean, I might want to take this one for you.
Yeah.
So, in regards to recommendations, we are not, we would provide to you a list of any contractors that are within the city of Hyattsville. We definitely want to, and we can share that information with you, but we're not saying that, advising you have to take one or the other, but we don't mind providing you a list of any contractors that are within the city of Hyattsville. Okay. Let's see. Here's a question. I don't have a lot of capital for the 25% match requirement. Can I still apply? Of course. Of course. Jean, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. You can consider smaller projects for basic improvements or try and obtain a loan. There's a list of programs in the Small Business Resource Guide, and I would also recommend too, as your contact for Prince George's County, and happy to be sort of a resource for you as well. And please reach out to me directly or through Renee, so I can look in to see if within DHCD there's any other programs that might apply to you and any rounds opening and things I might know about. And I also have a pretty good finger on the pulse for additional programs outside of just the city and the state that are going on, because we really do our best to try and find out what are other grant opportunities and places for funding to help business owners. So reach out and see if maybe we can find some way, if it's not necessarily the traditional facade improvement grant, then where the funding might be available.
Awesome, awesome. So, I know we have a few people online, so wanted to see if anyone had any questions before we close out. And if you do, you can raise your, well, actually, you can type your questions into the chat box, but if not, we can just kind of go from there. Let's see. I don't see anything right now. So what I'll do is, on the screen, I will make sure I have my information to get in touch. And if you would need to talk with Jean, I can definitely make sure I get that information over to you as well. But I wanted to make sure you reach out to me and see if there's something that I can help you with, because I know Jean she's responsible for the entire Prince George's County, so we don't want to overwhelm her with things that we may be able to handle directly. But we appreciate the fact that she is always available to us, as well as our businesses within the city of Hyattsville. But let's see. Let's see. I think, oh, we do have a hand up. So, Phil, if you can unmute, let me see, unmute you. Let me see if I can unmute you. Uh, you can just unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Do you hear me?
I sure can. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I just want to know if you'll make these slides available um, for us to have copies of.
This will be posted on the city's website for everyone to have access to.
Great.
Okay. All right. Janine, I see you have your hand up. If you can unmute yourself.
Hi, I had a quick question. Did do the improvements, would that include power washing? Like a facade. So it doesn't necessarily need to be replaced, but like sidewalks and the facade might look a lot better if it was power washed. And also, would it cover creating a trash enclosure? So if the the way where the trash the large trash bins,
Right.
are, if it's, they kind of have to be in the middle of like the parking lot where the center is. If we enclose that, just so it's not sort of an eyesore, would it cover that? Would
No. Jean, am I right about that? It will not cover doing trash bin closings, nor will it do for like sidewalks and things like that.
If
Jean?
it was power washing the building itself, that would be including the facade. And there is a little bit of a workaround of if the trash was next to the building. So if it's attached to the facade, then it's included in it. But
oh,
what you could potentially do if you're doing with the 25% match, if that 25% was going towards the trash, I believe that would count as the matching portion. If there was other things you wanted to do to the building itself, signage, do the power wash, and then if that was a smaller, I know it depends
right.
just how big the trash is and how expensive that portion is. But
Yeah.
yeah, it has to be, since it's facade work, it's got to be touching the building. But again, sometimes there's a little bit of wiggle room in gray area. So definitely, if you have any specific projects in mind, reach out to Renee, reach out to myself, and we can see if there's a way to make it work. But if it's in the middle of a parking lot, then I don't believe that would qualify.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're
Mm-hmm.
welcome. Welcome. Great. Good question. Good
Mm-hmm.
question though. Do we have any other questions? Any hands up? All right. Seeing none. Going once. Going twice. All right. Well, Jean, again, I thank you for always being available to us and providing a lot of good information. Do you have any closing remarks you might want to share?
Um, well, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm happy to be a resource and answer any questions. And really, things like that with the trash cans, they are excellent questions to have. And definitely reach out sooner rather than later to try and find out about those types of things. So if it can potentially work, we can figure out how now, because the application's open soon and it seems like it's a long time to get those in, but it'll be um, end of May before you know it. And we
Right.
don't want anyone to miss out. So tell all of your neighbors and really try and get the word out there, because another thing too is if we can see a whole targeted, like an entire block transformed, that's the end goal, and something we really love to see. So
Absolutely,
thank you so
absolutely.
much.
I totally agree. Thank you so much again. So just to remind everyone, this webinar will be posted on the city's website as well as the updated guidelines. But if you have any questions moving forward, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to be able to talk with you more about what you have in mind. I'm going to put this slide up so that you can see my information to close out. So if you have any questions, any concerns, reach out to me. I will do my best to answer your questions. If I cannot, I will reach out to my trusty friend Jean, and she will be able to guide me a little bit further. But with that said, I don't see any additional questions. I thank you all for your time this morning. I look forward to reviewing your applications and seeing the great things that you're doing within the city of community and within the city of Hyattsville to enhance the community and welcome people to your businesses. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.